Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video, I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and greatest episode of Star Trek Discovery. Now, before I go on, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled episode review. Again, if you're not caught up on Star Trek Discovery by this episode or the previous episode, don't keep watching or listening as I will be discussing spoilers. So, you have been warned. That being said, let's jump right into it. So, I loved this episode for one of two reasons. I really loved how they explored the lore and backstory of the Trill race and society, how they operate and how they regard each other and other races. And we finally got to see how that whole Trills connecting with symbionts becoming one type of thing. Like, I loved how all the past hosts appeared, including her dead boyfriend, how all the past hosts appear to officially welcome or accept her, like, into their little social circle or group, because now that symbiont has bonded with her, and now she can access the knowledge and information they need to find Starfleet headquarters. But I loved what she and Michael had to go through in order to get there. And I also loved how extremely relevant this episode was in terms of the crew and the characters of Discovery finally tackling, addressing, and dealing with the psychological and emotional stress they have taken and endured with the decision they've made to jump 930 years into the future. I mean, it's like, all these emotions finally came to the surface, which led to a pretty awkward dinner party. It was kind of fun up until that moment. I don't know what was going on with Kayla, the chick with the face thing, like why she was acting all mean and bitchy, because she normally isn't that way. If something happened to her, like it was implied in the recap that something goofy was going on with her or something. And then I just felt like it was so relevant, because it's like, this is exactly what millions of people, not just in the United States but all over the world, are currently dealing with in terms of the ongoing surging pandemic we're still in the middle of. It's like, this has taken its toll on so many people's mental health everywhere, and people have been affected by this thing one way or another: financially because they've lost their job or source of income, physically because they themselves have COVID or they've lost a loved one to COVID, or they know a loved one who's currently enduring and suffering COVID. So people are suffering in all forms and ways, throughout this year, because of the ongoing pandemic, and we ourselves have had to finally tackle and address those issues as well in real life, with how it's been taking its toll on us mentally and psychologically. And the crew almost had to do the exact same thing, but theirs was about time travel, never being able to go back home, seeing their friends and families again, and jumping so far ahead into the future, who knows if they'll ever be able to go back. So I'm glad that they finally addressed that, because it just makes it feel so much more realistic. Like, well, these characters are finally addressing how they've been dealing and feeling about this whole thing about jumping so far ahead in time. I also love seeing bonding between Saru as the captain, and then Paul's boyfriend, the chief medical officer, because they're two of the top commanding officers, Saru and the medical officer, and how they're advising and like encouraging one another to like how to lead and whatnot. So I really enjoyed seeing that. Overall, great episode. I just loved how they balanced out the struggles of the Discovery crew with the struggles of Adira, her past trauma, losing her boyfriend, and then Michael being there to help her, and just expanding on the lore of the Trills was just such a huge highlight for me. They're not necessarily one of my favorite races, but they're definitely been one of the more mysterious ones that we haven't really seen much of or know that much about. Deep Space Nine did a great job exploring their mythology, but this is the first time in a very long time, to my recollection, that we've seen a Star Trek show put so much focus on Trills, and I'm so glad that they did. Well, guys, what did you think of this episode? I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on it down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome rest of your night. New episodes of Star Trek Discovery drop every Thursday on CBS All Access. Don't miss it. It's been great so far. Have a great night, everybody. And of course, until next time, live long and prosper.